I was like, that's way too much on my face.
Hello, friends, and welcome to today's special episode of Booked, the Booked Selection Box, hosted by my good friend Sarah Arnu. Sarah, welcome to your show for the day.
Thank you for letting me hijack your platform yet again.
My pleasure. It gives me a break, honestly, because you do a lot of the work, and I just sort of sit in the background fiddling about with the buttons, nothing else. Just the buttons.
I feel like every conversation we have about the selection box is me going, I don't think I'm doing enough work. I feel like you're doing all the work. And you say the same thing back to me, and then nothing ever gets done.
You do the hard bit, which is coordinating human beings, which is my least favorite part. I like making all the graphics and farsing around with the intros and stuff. And really, we have a very, very, very fun selection of people from a wide range of genres. So, can you tell us a little bit about what we are? We smashed it, honestly.
So good lineup.
We did last time, we did this time, and we will next time. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about what we're going to be doing today?
We have such a big range of genres today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've got like a little bit of everything, really. We've got romance, we've got litfic, we've got poetry, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to get into it, honestly.
Excited. I delayed it for a sip because I thought you were going to talk for a bit longer, and I already had it in my hand, and I was like, I can't put it down.
I was like, can I make this awkward for everyone involved?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you to everybody that is here in the chat. I will be checking out the chat whilst the readings are going on, and we'll save your comments for the Q&A right at the end. So stay tuned. We've got some awesome readings, and Sarah, I'm going to disappear while you introduce our first reading.
Okay. So our first reader tonight is Danika Rose Lynn. Danika writes romance with the cozy, feel-good charm of Gilmore Girls, and with enough spice to make Hallmark blush. She crafts a magical and immersive experience that breathes life into the worlds she creates. Settings turn real, characters become friends. Each and every story is a sensory celebration. When not writing, Danika can be found painting, reading, cuddling her dogs, lost in a daydream, or lovingly driving her husband mad.
Hello. That was jarring. Okay, I guess we'll get started. I apologize in advance because I am horribly awkward at this stuff, but we're going to give it a go. The chapter that I'm reading, or I guess the snippet that I'm reading, is a fun one. They're doing a tea party with the main character's little girl, so it kind of starts up there. Daddy, where did Mommy go? She went to spend time with her new friends. Oh, but you've got some new friends coming over too. Remember Uncle Beckham and Uncle Simon? Uncle Becky and Uncle Sai? I snort, the very same. Ooh, Daddy, we can have a tea party. Sure, Sugar Plum. A tea party sounds like a wonderful idea. This will be fun. Between Beckham, Simon, and myself, we can keep Maisie entertained. Piece of cake. When I open the door, Beckham stands there. He takes one look at me and bursts into hysterical laughter. I lean against the door frame, arms crossed, an eyebrow raised while I wait for him to finish. Yeah, I say. Get it all out now. Fuck, man. Beckham wipes beneath his eyes, still chuckling, but at least the hysterics have died down. Rolling my eyes, I reluctantly step aside to let him in. Maisie said I looked like a pretty princess, I mutter petulantly. Beckham pats my shoulder when he passes. Sure do, buddy. Then he comes to a dead stop in front of me. When he rolls around, he has his phone in hand. Wait, I need to take a photo of this. Hell no, you don't. As soon as he lifts the phone, I grab it and tug it away. Not gonna happen. But Ellery can hear about it in as much detail as you want later, but no photos. Fine, but I'm remembering every single detail of this. Damn him and his photographic memory. I follow behind, dragging my feet, yes, like a toddler. I just spent the last few hours entertaining one, so if I want to act like one, I absolutely have the right. Then, when he falters in the middle of the hallway, unsure where to go next, I take the lead and guide him toward the living room / makeup trailer. That's right, folks, makeup, because my daughter apparently loves tea parties, and she loves to go all out with every aspect of them. That means putting on makeup, dressing in the frilliest, laciest, gaudiest garments and accessories known to man, and having an elaborate tea party to keep a toddler occupied for a couple of hours. So, this is where the magic happens. Beckham looks around, taking in the scene. The coffee table laden with coloring books, markers, and crayons. Somewhere along the way, the pile has grown to include Kennedy's makeup bag. Praying she doesn't kill me for that one, but Maisie insisted, and well, I'm a sucker. On top of all that, I added random hairstyling products from my stuff. Kennedy may forgive me for the makeup. Her hair products are an absolute no-go zone. Then Beckham's eyes alight on Maisie. She stands proudly amid the chaos, holding a hairbrush in one hand and a tube of lipstick in the other. Uncle Becky, she cries out. I snort, quietly because I don't want her to think I'm laughing at her. But hearing Beckham get called Uncle Becky will never ever get old. Maisie enthusiastically opens her arms and bounces on the balls of her feet, giving Beckham an expectant look. Beckham, bless his heart, only cringes for a second after hearing the name before he walks over to her and crouches down so she can give him the hug she wants. Hey, Maisie girl, he says. What you doing to your dad, huh? Makeover, she giggles. For the tea party. Tea party, huh? He side-eyes me. Well, he certainly looks like a proper lady. Yeah, she squints up at me. Almost. Almost, I ask, eyebrows shooting up. What do you mean, almost? Maisie giggles, but ignores me. She grabs Beckham by the hand and tugs him toward the couch. Sit, sit. Beckham follows the command with some slight reluctance. Look, I don't blame him. I mean, I'm currently clowned up for her amusement. I haven't even officially looked in a mirror yet. I'm afraid to, and no, I'm not too manly to admit it. Daddy, Maisie says, pointing to the seat next to Beckham. Sit. I groan and plop onto the couch cushion. I thought I was all done, I pout. Maisie shakes her head. Not yet. Wait there, please. Obviously I do as she asks. How could I not? Whenever my little girl says please, and she pronounces it like peas, it melts my heart. Uncle Becky, your turn. Maisie motions for him to lean down so she can reach. He peeks over at me and says out of the corner of his mouth, You owe me so much alcohol for this. Noted. I watch with fascination while Maisie gets to work. Ever the consummate professional, she tackles each task with precision, as much as an almost 4-year-old can, and passion. First, she picks the sparkly blue eyeshadows. Because your eyes are blue. Then she lathers his cheeks with bright pink powder, one big circle on the apple of each cheek, until he reminds me of one of those old-fashioned dolls. I have to bite my lip hard enough to taste blood, but I refuse to laugh as much as I want to. Every time she turns away, Beckham shoots me a death glare. Worth it. By the time she finishes, he looks something between a circus clown and a Vegas showgirl. Oh man, I say, choking back one more laughter. Best day of my life right here. Beckham grumbles something under his breath. That sounds an awful lot like it might be the last day of your life, too. Be right back, Maisie interrupts, oblivious to anything else. Stay here, she commands before dropping the stuff in her hands on the table and rushing off. Sweetie, I call out, watching her. Where are you going? Playroom. I stand up to follow, but she peeks her head around the corner and glowers at me. Stay there, Daddy, I want to surprise you. Then she disappears again. Oh boy, more surprises. Settling back down beside Beckham, I sigh. Boys. Huh? I quirk my head at Beckham in confusion. What are you going on about? He purses his bright red lips and looks up at the ceiling for strength. When Ellery and I decide to have kids, I'm praying for all boys.
Thank you so much. That was so great.
Thank you.
I had so much fun with that.
It was one of my favorite scenes to write.
I think I could tell because you were so warm while reading it, and like all the voices were great and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Did you enjoy reading?
I did, once I got into it.
You were very good at it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for reading for us. I hope you stick around for the Q&A at the end.
Yep, I'll be here.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you again, Danika. Our next guest is Kyle Farnworth. Kyle Farnworth is an author and educator from New Bedford, Massachusetts. He grew up surrounded by the rich history and working class resilience of his hometown, elements that deeply influence his writing. His debut novel, Whalers, 2025, was a finalist for the Indie Author Network's Best Debut Novel and the Kindle Book Award's Best Mystery Thriller, and was shortlisted for Readse's Discovery's Editor's Choice Award.
Hello, everybody. Sarah, Saffron, thank you for having me. Really appreciate the invite. I'm going to read a short excerpt from my current work in progress. It's going to be my third novel. It's titled, Is This It? It's a novel that follows a family that's grappling with the loss of their son and brother after an archaeological discovery seemingly disproves the existence of an afterlife. I'm going to read chapter 1, which follows the main character, Ansel, as he is dealing with the new life that he finds himself in. So thank you for listening. When Ansel's youngest son, Francis, died, the only thing that kept him upright was the belief that everything happened for a reason and that matters of life and death belonged to God's will. It was, like all things, not meant to be fully understood. God's will simply was. Ansel had been a deacon for 12 years when what he and his family referred to as the field trip occurred. In the aftermath, he believed it was his responsibility to make the loss bearable, not only for his community, but for Estelle and their 2 surviving sons. Gus was the oldest. William had been the middle child, which meant that he was once again the youngest. Ansel often imagined his sons asking him questions such as, what kind of a God would do this to us? He rehearsed his responses, each tailored to the needs of whichever son asked the question. If Gus asked, he would need to appeal to his logic. If William asked, he would need to keep his response short and simple. But neither of them ever came to him with questions, and life continued, as it does for those who are lucky enough to live it. William dropped out of college and moved home into the family's basement. Gus found a job as an adjunct literature professor at UMass and moved into a small apartment where he lived alone with a French bulldog. He named the dog Xerxes after mixing up Persian and Parisian, a mistake that can only happen to someone who learned only through reading, and a mistake he would never admit was a mistake. Every day, Ansel found himself alone as well, though his loneliness was different from Gus's. It was the loneliness of a man who had once grown accustomed to a bustling house and a loving wife, only to discover that both of those things could disappear without warning. The boys were gone, and Estelle might as well have been gone as well. Her pale, blank stares never turned in his direction. There are no adults named Franny, she once said from her chair, positioned perfectly in front of the window so that she could glare out at the neighborhood children and feel a fresh pang of grief every time she heard a giggle. He asked her what she'd meant, but she didn't respond. She seemed to stop responding altogether. Even after the God papers were discovered, Ansel continued serving Mass and allowed himself to grieve with help from the parish. He spoke openly about Francis during the homily, pouring his heart into nearly every service. The church didn't stay open for long, though. Pews emptied. It happened slowly at first, and then one morning, Ansel stepped in front of the altar and found that nobody had come at all. After his parish closed, Ansel was hired as the part-time shuttle driver at Roosevelt Community Hospital's Dartmouth campus. He spent most of his days circling the outer edges of the property in a golf cart-style shuttle that stopped at all parking lots, garages, and main entrances. The hospital had once been called St. Luke's, and old Catholic names were everywhere then, on emergency room doors, maternity wards, children's wings, cancer centers, but now Roosevelt Community Hospital had scrubbed the saints from its signs. But Ansel's shuttle clipboard still said St. Luke's on the back of it in thin black marker that just wouldn't come off. "Good morning," he said to one of the nurses. He smiled politely and waved. "It's good to see you." They always waved back. They smiled at him in a way that people rarely smiled at him when he was still Deacon Ansel. It made him wonder whether he might still be handsome, a question he hadn't thought to ask himself in years. Estelle certainly hadn't looked at him that way. After the field trip, she hardly looked at him at all. But the nurses, the doctors, and the elderly women making their way across the sun-soaked black pavement all looked at him like he was a breath of fresh air. He was the reason they didn't have to walk across campus. In a strange way, he was glad to still be helping people get where they needed to go. "Where are you headed?" he asked one of the nurses, scooping her up from the parking garage. "Hospice," she said. She was small, quiet, and spoke at a volume that almost disappeared in the wind. She had a childlike face and kept her eyes on her folded hands. He almost said, "God bless you," but he had been trying hard not to say things like that at work. "Can't be an easy place to work," he said instead, and the nurse just nodded but didn't respond. "I'm Ansel," he said. "Kathy," she said, brushing a strand of hair from her face after the wind had blown it loose. She reminded Ansel of Estelle when they were in their 20s, back when her quietness still carried a kind of mystery. They drove across campus quietly for a moment, but when Ansel looked over at her, he was struck by an overwhelming feeling that there was something he was supposed to ask. "Can I ask you something?" he said. She looked up at him and nodded. "What do you tell them in hospice care?" "What do you mean?" "I mean," he paused. "Okay, so we used to say things like they're going to a better place, right? Trust me, I used to be a deacon, so I've said it 1,000 times. That was always comforting, you know, it made them feel less gone." She stared at him. The word "gone" came out harsher than he intended it to. She didn't know what had happened to Franny. "But what do you say now?" She shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "Most people aren't conscious by the time they reach us," she said. "We don't really say much to—" "I know," he said, intentionally cutting her off. "I get that. But I don't mean to them. I'm more curious about what you say to the families, the parents, the kids. What do you tell them?" "I don't—" She stopped. "I just tell them that I'm sorry for their loss." "Yeah," he said. "That's what people seem to say." That was what people said most to him at the wake. That and "I'm praying for you." But as they passed by and shook his hand, Ansel couldn't stop fixating on how small Franny's casket was. He didn't know they made them so tiny, like a doll's house, which made it seem like it was meant to exist only in a dream. Each day, when Ansel returned to his too big house, he looked to his left and he found Estelle sitting in the same chair, staring through the same front window. But that afternoon, the chair was empty. She was standing in the kitchen at the counter with a rag in her hand. "Oh, hello, sweetie," she said. "I didn't hear you come in." There was a smile on her face that gave him pause. There was nothing strange about the shape of her smile or the teeth it revealed, but what unsettled him was how long it had been since he'd seen one. For a moment, it felt as though a stranger were standing in his kitchen. "How was your day?" she said. Grief had taken a lot of weight from her, so her turtleneck and jeans ran baggy and loose-fitting. But the fact that she was wearing them and not sweatpants was a sight to behold. "Good," Ansel said. He took a few steps into the kitchen and gave her a kiss on the cheek. The taste was unfamiliar. "How was your day?" "It was great," she said. "The kitchen is a mess, though, and I need to clean up for dinner." "Are we cooking?" he asked. They hadn't had anything other than takeout in weeks. "I'm going to make pork chops if you're okay with that," she said. He went to the refrigerator, opened the door, and saw a sight even rarer than her smile. There were groceries. "That sounds nice," he said. "Perfect. I'll start cooking after the prosecutor comes by." She grabbed a bottle cleaner and pointed it at the granite countertop. She squeezed 3 times and wiped it over with a rag. "I'm going to go shower," he said, "but it's nice to see you like this." "Like what?" She stopped wiping and stared at him, eyes wide. "Like," he paused, trying to land on the right words, but they escaped him. "You know." Her smile tightened to not show teeth. She pursed her lips together, nodded once, and went back to cleaning. In the shower, the nurse's parting words returned to him. He had intended to share them with Estelle, hoping that they might relieve some pain from her, but the sight of her standing in the kitchen had driven them from his mind. "I see them in their last moments," she said, right before he dropped her off. "They go somewhere. I don't know where it is or what it's like, but one moment they're here, and then the next they're somewhere else. I truly believe that." That night, he looked at Estelle through the steam rising from the pan and wondered for the first time in months whether some people came back. Thank you.
Wow. That was incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm so sad.
You know,
I've got all the emotions.
yeah, chapter 1 has to, start with a bang. And yeah, that's why I've been off social media. That's what I've been working on.
Well, I mean, as much as we've missed you on social media, I kind of feel like maybe you need to stay off it a bit more so we can get more book.
I know. I had to make one appearance for the selection box, though. You know that.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So that was fantastic. I can't wait to read more of it. If you want a beta reader, I'm just going to say
I know just who to ask.
Yeah. Thank you so much for reading for us. It really was incredible.
Thank you, and I'll hear from you later on.
Great. Hopefully you stay for the Q&A. So our next guest is Cara Tobias. A dynamic storyteller, Cara Dobias has honoured her need for creative expression by working across mediums. In addition to being a poet, she is a classically trained operatic soprano, actress, and dancer with a degree in theatre arts from Drew University. For her, creativity is a way of life, a continuous journey of self-discovery and a means to connect with the world around her. Through her work, she hopes to leave an imprint that resonates with authenticity and speaks to our shared humanity.
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you for that introduction, Sarah. I'm Cara, author of the poetry book Alive, and I'll be reading a couple poems for you today. So this one is the title poem, Alive. What makes you feel most alive? I don't think enough people dare to ask this question, let alone answer it. I find myself in the unconventional. I don't know if this makes me ungrounded, but I like flirting with daydreams. I'm inspired by those who dare to see the impossible. Maybe some would say that I lack a sense of reality, but I would counter that they just aren't paying attention. I'm the kind of person who will try to find beauty in everything. Quite frankly, I don't see the point in being any other way. I want to surround myself with art and music. I want to dance away my pain and console myself with prose. You see, I'm doing it even now. I've tried to walk a straight path before, but my destiny has laughed at the notion that my life could possibly be linear. I don't always perform to the status quo. In fact, I'm getting more comfortable with coloring outside of the lines, though some would try to pull me back inside. I recognize that this may be a lonely life for me, one fraught with chasing the next big thing, the next rush of emotion, the next burst of creativity. But I've resigned myself to the reality that, to be authentically me, I cannot be anything but vulnerable. Sometimes painfully so. Sometimes I feel misunderstood, even by those who claim to love me the most. I cannot explain it. I'm at once altogether here, entirely present, but simultaneously projecting myself into a future that may never come to pass. In short, I think a lot. About everything, all the time. Like how this moment is fleeting and I'll never be as I am now again. Or how I fear losing those I love most, because loss seems to be my closest confidant. I love fiercely, and I know that can be scary. I wish I knew what that felt like, to be on the receiving end of my love. I'm still learning how to fill my cup. To be alive is so achingly, terribly beautiful. So that's the first one. And then this poem is called Unapologetic. I have a bad habit of trying to guess what everyone thinks of me. But I'm tired of living in the shadow of imagined opinions when I would much rather bask in the glow of unapologetic truth. That is to say, I'm done over-explaining myself. I'm ready to just be. Your opinion of me is really none of my business. But I can't say I'm not happy that I cross your mind. I have been told that I think, feel, and love too much. It's a scary phenomenon to be on the receiving end of. But is that not the best compliment? My being cannot be contained. I'm overflowing from my cup and inviting you in to share the holy magic of it all. So tell me, do you consider it a sin to think yourself divine? If you don't stoke your fire, someone is bound to come along and extinguish it. I hope you never give them that power. I once longed to hear I love you echo on someone else's lips, maybe for a lack of self-love. But the meaning of those 3 words is dulled when you can't repeat them to your reflection. It's not egotistical to be your own #1 fan. And if it is, why not be a bit selfish? I've learned that ignoring my intuition only hurts me in the end. So I'm no longer accepting anyone else's word as gospel, no longer using others as my mirror. I don't need to walk through this life quietly in fear that my breath won't sync with yours, that my being will upset the balance. I have the audacity to fill the room now. I will no longer apologize myself away, no longer shrink myself in the name of someone else's comfort. If I'm to be known in any way, I hope it's for daring to live my life boldly, no matter how that looks from the outside. So yes, I am intense, and I like it that way. I will love you so deeply that it will probably scare you away, but I don't regret a minute of it. What a gift it is to fully embody my feelings. I'll continue to think too much about everything, because that's the key to unlocking the worlds that exist inside me. I have a hunger for the fulfillment of my dreams, so I'll go on following where my passion leads. After all, my desire is holy. If I'm too much, no one is asking you to stay. My only priority is living my life for me. And I have one more to leave you with. This is Wild Woman. My lineage is rooted in the soil of the Carpathian Mountains, Lemkovina, home to the Lemko people, a people exiled from the land they tilled for generations. So I wonder, is it in my DNA to long for places I can never return to? I feel more at home in the paintings of romantics, those of ethereal beauty, that which critiques how far we've removed ourselves from all that is natural in the name of progress. I remember my humanity most when I'm one with Mother Earth. Sometimes, when I look at a sunset-laden sky, I think of which paints I would mix to capture the correct colors. I think this is how I must be loved. I need someone to look at me and have the desire to know what I am made of. Find me in nature's palette, sensation, sight, and sound. I'll be the breeze at the break of dawn when the heat of summer cools, waking you gently. The rouge to autumn's painted leaves, beckoning a cycle of seasons, a reminder that we must let go to move forward. But oh, how beautiful that can be. And when winter's shadow descends, I'll be the comfortable silence of the falling snow, enveloping you in peace, a promise that spring's renewal is never far away, and soon you will be waking to the serenade of birdsong. Now you see the rhythm, the pulse of this life too often hidden by our focus on things that time will name trivial. These days, I'm trying to slow my pace to sync with this remembering. An ode to my roots, Lemkovina. We are a people of the land, and when I die, I will return to the soil. My body will fade with the seasons. The flowers will entomb me. Let the roses cover me until their briars grow to protect my soul. Only then will there no longer be a need for metaphor. I may at last be one with all that I find beautiful in this life. After all, I was always a wild woman. Thank you.
No, thank you. That was incredible. I don't read enough poetry. And I was listening and I was like, I need that entire collection just like injected into my veins.
Well, I wanted to say I just recorded the full book as an audiobook, and that will be out hopefully within the next month, give and take. So yes, very excited to have my words heard from me.
Well, I'm going to be getting that the second that it goes live.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I cannot wait. It was incredible. Thank you so much for reading. I hope that you stick around for the Q&A.
I will.
Fantastic. So our next guest is C.W. Rose. C.W. Rose is a fantasy and romance author who writes about ordinary Asian women in extraordinary circumstances and finds themselves and sometimes, usually, love along the way. And the cinnamon roll, not always men who adore them. She is also a certified scuba diver and lifeguard with a deep love for the world and animals around us, though she hasn't spotted any mermaids yet. Outside of writing, you can find her buried in a great book, learning to sing in different languages, and finding any excuse to spend time outdoors. She's also a third culture kid who grew up in Singapore and currently lives in New York City with her family, working as a physical therapist. Find all of her socials, website, and newsletter sign up at cwrose.com, at cw-rose.com.
All right, Sarah. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. So I'm going to be reading part of a chapter from my debut romantasy, Ocean Song, which is essentially an Asian Romeo and Juliet meets The Little Mermaid if it was set in the real world. All right. So just a quick background. So at this point in the story, Angie, our protagonist, who is a dock worker and is a very marine biologist, she has found that mermaids actually do exist in her small Alaskan hometown, and they're actually hoarding fish and causing her small fishing village to starve. Right. When 7 o'clock came, most of the other workers had gone home, leaving Angie alone at the harbor and Baba and Nick making their final rounds. Once this last fishing boat, the Odyssey, came in, she'd be free from work for today. The Odyssey had missed her scheduled return time almost 3 hours ago with no word. Angie knew the small group of boaters that had gone out. They were constantly wary of the time and always giving the supervisors updates every hour. Still, boats could miss their return for any reason, and if they didn't show the next 30 minutes, Angie could officially report them missing and call the Coast Guard. 20 minutes passed. She reached around to her backpack and slid her phone out of the side pocket. Baba, where are you? Odyssey still hasn't returned. May need to report missing. Baba replied right away. In the control room. Meet me there. Excuse me. A brief pause and ellipsis popped up from his end. Angie didn't take her eyes off her phone as she walked to the control room, bemused as to why he was there. Normally, he let the dock operators have this run into space and relay information to him as needed. He texted back. Just found out what happened to the Odyssey. Shit. Angie picked up her pace, finding him inside a small building with Nick and two operators at his side, surrounded by monitors focused on various spots on the docks. 2 large radios flanked either side of the monitors on the central desk, and Baba was looking through his phone. What's going on? You found them? Her words rushed out. Baba nodded. They sent distress calls, but we did not receive them until several minutes ago. He sighed. I called maintenance to update our older radios. Angie's gaze slid from Baba to Nick, to the 2 operators, and back to Baba, holding her shoulders tight with anticipation. I took a recording. Listen to this. With visibly trembling fingers, he tapped on his phone. Voices came through, distorted and crackling. Mayday! Help! Storm surge came. Nowhere. Controlled for now. A chill snaked down Angie's spine. Tails! Water! What the fuck? Static. Urfolk. Boat rocking. Can't hold. A broken scream followed. Fuck, they're dead. They're all... Deafening silence. With cold hands, Angie gathered her hair into a bunch and then let it back down while staring at the radios, now eerily silent. Baba put his phone away, his voice monotone. 6 of them. Gone. The operators were as pale as freshly bleached sheets. Nick looked as if he were restraining an outburst. Lips clenched and cheeks puffed, eyebrows drawn together. Angie's heartbeat slammed her ears. Baba crossed his arms over his chest, speaking through gritted teeth. If those creatures are going to hoard our food supply, have everybody starve, he took in a sharp inhale, and kill our people, then we will hunt them down. This is war. This is war. She couldn't stop thinking of what Baba said. As Angie left work the next day, a loud splash from behind jolted her, as though a wave had slammed headfirst into a bed of rocks. Her grip tightened around her backpack straps. It sounded like somebody had cannonballed in, or a boulder had fallen and broken the water surface. Her body was turned toward the dock entrance, but one leg stayed planted, as if she would be pulled in 2 different directions. Must be hearing things. She should just go home. On the other hand, someone could be behind her, or fell into the water. The shrubbery behind her crackled and fluttered. Somebody was definitely here, and better she get the jump on them or help them if they were hurt. Hackles raised. She checked the time on her phone. 20 minutes until the next ferry came, but if she caught the following ferry, she could still make dinner on time. Might be a few minutes late, but she'd take her chances. So much for her plans to go for a quick round of shooting. Angie reached into her bag, fingers sliding around the roughshod grip of her Glock. She crept toward the source of the sound, sliding the gun out. She followed the winding pebbled road to where land joined the ocean. Another loud splash, this time directly in front of her. Angie held her breath and peeked up from behind a white spruce tree, hands shaking. A man rested face down ahead of her on shore, the lower half of his body in the water. His head was turned away, covered with thick hair reminiscent of raven's feathers. His torso was exposed, sunbeams reflecting off smooth, light olive skin. Angie furrowed her brow. Who was this man? And why was he topless in 45-degree weather? Must have been drunk and passed out, the only sensible explanation. Angie took one step forward on the gravel ground so she could lean in closer without losing her balance. Propping himself on his hands, elbows fully extended, the man gawked at her, a lengthy maroon fishtail flicked up behind him. Angie staggered back, agape. The merman hadn't moved. He appeared unarmed, staring at her in return with equal expression of shock. She didn't know what to do. Images and words flashed through her mind of the dead merman from earlier. The diver claimed that he had lunged at her. Then listening to her colleagues on Odyssey screams on the radio as the Merrick massacred the entire crew. They were all dead. To her, there was no question about it. The Merrick were dangerous. She drew her gun, aiming the barrel between his eyes. Her index finger trembled while inching closer to the trigger. The merman held up his hands, tail curling to support his lower body. Wait! Stop! And I know it's a bit short, but that's all I have for today.
That was great.
Thank you.
So much fun. You put so much personality into the reading as well.
Oh, thank you. No, that's my first time reading that passage. And I had not looked at my book.
I would never have thought it was the first time.
I was like, I wrote this. Hold on. Thank you for saying that.
Good. I had so much fun.
Did
you have fun?
I had a lot of fun.
You looked like you were having fun with it. Just the
I was
best.
getting really into it.
It was great. You did great.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we'll see you at the end?
Yes, I should be able to stay for a little bit at least.
That's great. We'll look forward to talking to you then.
Yay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So our next guest is Daniel Radford. Daniel Radford is an author, poet, podcast host, and creator who doesn't like sticking to one genre or medium, but with a penchant for making people sad. His first book was a picture book released in 2020. His first proper book, Domino, released in 2022, and its sequel, Marble, released in 2025. He has also released a serialized anthology, Epilogue, in that year, and has also been putting out various short stories and poems, etc., all the while with plenty more still to come.
Right, hello. I am terrified, so forgive me if this is a little shaky, but I'm going to do my best. This is a segment from the aforementioned book Marble, which came out last year, because I don't have anything newer for you just yet. Amina was halfway past the next class down from the civics and law room, ruminating on her impending fate, when she felt a rumble in the ground beneath her feet. She barely had time to form the thought that an earthquake was all she needed to round out her morning, when the rumble became a building-shaking tremor and a thunderously loud noise that she could scarcely describe beyond that. The eardrum-splitting rumbling was accompanied by glass shattering, and, soon after, a series of sharp, cracking sounds, and a slight but noticeable jump in the temperature. If Amina had been a little further down the hall, she'd have risked being impaled by hundreds of tiny shards of glass, as several of the windows on the classroom doors had exploded inwards. Amina didn't even notice. She did notice the plaster dust and shrapnel that rained down on her as the building rattled, concrete and stones struggling against a great external force. She looked up instinctively, shielding her eyes from the detritus. She saw the piece of ceiling break and drop down, but wasn't quick enough to completely get out of the way. The falling object struck the side of Amina's head, and she felt a splitting pain and the warm, sticky sensation of blood in her hair and running down her cheek. Her vision swam and darkened, and she staggered into the wall, sinking down against it as she was overcome with a nauseating dizziness. Then it was over. So much had happened, but it had only been seconds. If that. From somewhere else in the building, Amina heard screams. She barely registered the sound. Her head was still ringing, and tinnitus was screaming inside of her ears. Slowly, some of the dizziness subsided, and her vision cleared. As a degree of clarity returned to Amina, she realized some of the screams, the shouts for help, and the wailing were from the classrooms across and down the hall from her. She registered the dust and debris, glass, plaster, wood, even concrete, that littered the ground. She noted the cracks in the wall, ceiling, and floor, and the places where splashes of blood had reached the hall. She had been alone in the hallway. The shouts and cries continued, accompanied by the quieter sounds of sobbing and the low groans of the wounded. Some were coughing and choking on the dust that was heavy in the air. Amina took a moment to try and collect her thoughts. She felt a faint heat in the air that prickled at her skin, and the taste of metal and dirt in her mouth. Slowly, she climbed to her feet, her stomach churning and threatening to relieve her of the remnants of that morning's breakfast. The room spun for a moment as her legs wobbled beneath her, the strength going out of them the minute they were required to bear her weight. Amina leant against the wall, bracing herself against the overflow of unpleasant sensations and letting them gradually fade away. Once the sickness in the pit of her stomach and the trembling of her legs had passed, she swallowed a few times and then slowly staggered back towards her classroom, her earlier outburst all but forgotten. She couldn't say for sure what drove her to return to Miss Macris's class. Maybe it was just familiarity, or because it was where she was supposed to be. Perhaps she just didn't have anywhere else to go. Regardless, she found her body running on autopilot, returning to the civics and law classroom despite herself. Her feet crunched over glass, the material splintering under her as she approached the door. Like many of the other rooms Amina could see, the window in the door had shattered into the hall, scattering its broken fragments across the floor. A feral stench wafted out of the aperture, a thick smell of burning and waste that sat heavy in the back of Amina's nostrils and made her gag. Fighting the violent assault against her senses and the protests of her innards, Amina rested her hand on the doorframe and peered inside the classroom. And what she saw filled her with horror and disgust. Part of the back wall had collapsed inwards through a hole in the floor, a hole that reached where some of the desks had been. Where the wall hadn't caved in completely, the external windows hadn't fared any better than the interior ones. People had been thrown from their seats and desks tumbled and overturned. Blades of glass had lacerated everyone who had been in the room, and even eviscerated some. Bullets of building material had pierced flesh and shattered bones. Many inside had angry burns that tore away at layers of skin, or left it with the appearance of leather. A layer of smoke hung persistently in the air like a spectre, and detritus and blood pooled on the ground. Many, maybe most, of the 20 students who had remained in the room were dead or dying. Those who were still alive and conscious were injured, laying among corpses and groaning in pain. 2 of the students had crawled and clawed their way through the mess and were desperately trying to administer first aid to their classmates. Miss Macris lay crumpled against the inner wall, her burned and blistered body twisted into an inhuman angle. One of her eyes was a bloody mess in her socket, barely present anymore. One of the larger shards of glass that had pincushioned her stuck out of her throat, visible to Amina only because of the blood that pooled over it and the grime that stuck to it. Amina wasn't sure how she was meant to feel about a woman she despised dying a gruesome death. She didn't know how she was meant to feel about any of the macabre scene in front of her. This was death and destruction at a level that her brain couldn't pass. It filled her with a sense of dread that reached deep to her core. It was such an intense horror that she felt it physically as much as emotionally, if not more so. Amina felt like she could have been crying or screaming along with those other voices, but she was frozen. No sounds rose from her throat. No tears fell. For a moment, Amina teetered on the edge of disconnection, simply shutting down because she couldn't grasp what she was experiencing. For several moments, Amina stood still and watched. What was in front of her was gruesome to such a degree that it transcended common sense. It didn't feel real. But the visceral nature of it all, the foul stimuli to her senses, and the pain in the side of her head told her it was. Eventually, the numbness was quickly chased away by a rising panic. What kind of disaster could do this in seconds and then be over? What was fair about that? What was Amina supposed to do here? What could she do? She felt a sudden and overwhelming desire to flee. She told herself there was nothing she could do to help as she turned and staggered away towards the stairs, lacking the strength in her legs to run. And that's all I've got for you for now. Pleasant, I'm sure.
You know what, Daniel? It's like nearly 1 a.m. here. I'm in a dark house, and now I'm scared to leave my little pocket of light. So thank you.
I mean, don't worry about it. If this happened where you were, you wouldn't be safe anywhere else either.
I mean, it's not reassuring. It's not reassuring, but you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. At least I've got my cat here with me he's not gonna save me. I don't know why you were so nervous. That was so good. I'm not gonna say I had fun because I didn't necessarily have fun, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Anytime I'm doing anything performance or public related, I wouldn't say I get stage fright as much as performance anxiety. but by the time I'm actually getting into it, it's fine.
I feel like with horror, performance anxiety works though. You can be like, oh, it's so scary. It's making me
just getting into. I'm just relating to the characters, you know.
Yeah, which is what a good reader does.
Sure.
Thank you so much for reading for us. I hope you can stick around for the Q&A, but I do understand that it is stupid o'clock in the morning for you. So I understand if you
I can eat after.
I appreciate that. It gives you time to get the fear of skinning someone alive out of your system.
I don't even know what that.
Oh, you're back.
Oh no, I'm fine to go. I just said I don't know what to say to that.
We've gotten to a point, haven't we? It's that different time zones for us all. We've all lost the plot a little bit. Well, thank you again for reading.
Before I make it any worse.
Yeah. Okay, and our last reader tonight today. I don't know what time zones are. Apparently, we all know this. Our last reader is Katie Carlisle. Katie Carlisle is the pseudonym for a multi-genre author living in Southwest Florida. As far back as she can remember, Carlisle has dedicated her life to the written word. Earning her BA in Writing Arts with a concentration in creative writing in 2015 from Rowan University, Carlisle received the Excellence in Writing Arts Award. Out of more than 3,500 students, Carlisle was selected for the award based on her exceptional skill as a writer and teacher of writing. In October 2023, Carlisle wrote and published her first novel, Reasonable. Since embarking on her self-publishing journey, she has written and published 5 novels, 3 of which received glowing reviews from Kirkus Reviews, touting Carlisle's attention to character development and ability to create tightly woven plots. She is currently represented by Vicky Weber at Creative Media Agency and looks forward to exploring the opportunities of traditional publishing with her future works.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I will waste no time and get into the first chapter of my latest book, Witch Among Us, which is the sequel to I Know What I Saw. And yeah, let's get into it. I don't know if I can do this. Everyone makes it sound so easy, so expected, so natural. And for other girls my age, it probably is. But for me, it's different. It's terrifying. Because other girls my age weren't chased through the trees by a sadistic killer like I was. They don't know what it's like to be so haunted the thought of getting out of bed in the morning is enough to send their heart rate into overdrive. They don't understand how it feels to be suffocated by their own memories, to be so consumed by terror they can't tell the difference between their nightmares and everyday life. But I do. Because a part of me will always be in those woods, wondering if I'll make it out alive. Maybe that's why I'm still trapped there at night, still swallowing screams that fall muted on broken branches under starless skies. While the rest of the world gets to sleep, I'm stuck reliving the horror that's dominated my life since the day it happened. Except that's not it at all. Not really. Because when I shut my eyes at night and fall back into the pines, the terror that greets me isn't shaped by memory. It's formed by premonition. And that's what scares me the most. Get your ass in gear, E. I'm not taking no for an answer. Kate hurls a pillow at me from clear across the room, and it lands with surprising force on my unsuspecting face. I groan in response, and it's not just because the poofy pink projectile left a tingling sensation in my nose that simultaneously makes me want to sneeze and inspect my face for abrasions. It's because this is the moment I've been dreading all morning. Okay, fine, I've been dreading it all week. Maybe all year. If it's possible to dread something you didn't even know existed until just a few days ago. The org fair. Ugh. Maybe there's still a way for me to get out of this. I don't know, Kate. I forced the most pathetic cough I can muster into my fist, doing my best impression of a sick child trying to weasel their way out of going to school. I'm not feeling that great. Why don't you just go and I'll... Oh, no, you don't. Kate crosses the room in the blink of an eye, a much less impressive feat when you consider the fact that only about 30 inches of space separate my bed from hers in our closet-sized dorm. I cower behind the pillow she assaulted me with, but she snatches it away and tosses it over her shoulder. She folds her arms and glowers down at me, embers dancing in her hazel eyes. Or maybe that's just the fire from my dreams playing tricks on me. Awesome. I can't even escape my nightmares when I'm awake. You can't keep doing this, she grumbles, but the thunder in her voice is laced with tenderness. It reminds me of the soft rumble that echoes through the mountains back home before the rain comes in the summer. But it's autumn now, and we're miles away from Whitehall, and the only thing I want to do is stay in bed. Nothing can hurt me here. Not while I'm awake, anyway. Please, Kate. I tug the comforter around my body, wrapping myself in a cocoon of blankets as I worry my bottom lip between my teeth. I can't do the whole crowd thing. I'm not ready yet. She rolls her eyes and grunts, ripping away the protective layer and throwing my downy armor to the floor. Hey, I protest, but the look on her face shuts me up before I can say anything else. No more hiding. She grits out each word through clenched teeth and flared nostrils, the spitting image of a dragon about to scorch an entire village. I'm sick of you wasting away our freshman year, spending all your time in our dorm room. It's bad enough you stole the random roommate rite of passage from me. Dimples deepen in her cheeks when she delivers her final blow, letting me know she doesn't really mean it. Still, the words sting. I'm willing to bet there aren't any other freshmen at Salem State University who got to handpick their roommates prior to move-in day. But I guess that's the upside of living with crippling PTSD. Special treatment for the resident crazy person too scared to leave her room. No wonder Kate's sick of me. Oh, come on, don't look at me like that. Her face softens, and she sinks down on the bed beside me. You know I'm only kidding. With my luck, I would have gotten paired up with some, cosplaying mega nerd with a dead insect collection. Don't talk about my boyfriend like that, I tease, and we share a laugh at Simon's expense before the silence returns and reminds us that there are more serious things to discuss, like my fear of leaving the safety of this room, or my inability to cope with what happened to me, or the smoke clawing at my throat each night, telling me that I'm right to be afraid. Because something else is lurking just around the corner. I can feel it. Watching. Waiting. But Kate doesn't need to know about that. Nobody does. Look, I get it, okay? She sighs, her hand floating down to grab mine. Maybe not completely, but I do get it. What happened was... She shakes her head, an uneasy breath shuddering past her lips as she lets the sentence die incomplete. But this moping shit has got to stop, Eliza. I'm serious. It's not healthy. For either of us. Crap. She used my full name. That means it's serious. And if I don't listen to her, I'll never hear the end of it. Or worse, she might just want to stop being my friend altogether. And let's face it, I'm not exactly in a position to be turning away friendships. Up until recently, the only real friend I had was Simon. And the only reason that changed is because everyone back home thinks I'm some kind of hero or something. But I'm not a hero. I'm just a girl who got stabbed by a psychopath. We're not in Whitehall anymore, E. Kate squeezes my hand, dragging my thoughts out of the woods and back into our dorm room, far away from the man who scarred me for life. Literally. You don't have to be afraid. Things can be different here. You can be different. Her eyes twinkle with the kind of hopeful optimism only a former cheer captain could possess, and for a moment, I almost believe her. Maybe she's right. Maybe the thing that's keeping me from living a normal life has nothing to do with the scar on my stomach or the monster who put it there. Maybe things can be different here. But then I remember the nightmares, the yawning pines clawing at a smoke-filled sky, the flames licking at fishnet stockings bound to blackened tree trunks, the screaming, the cackling, the stench of death. Some people say it's not possible to dream about the future, but I know better. It might not be the same terrifying nightmare that haunted me in the days that led up to that night in the forest, but the feeling I get from it is no different. Something is coming, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. And on that cheerful note...
What a way to end the show. I don't know if you could see the chat, our little private chat, while you were reading, but everyone's been going like absolutely nuts for your reading.
Well, great. I'm so happy about that.
There was something about Saffron licking the window at one point. I don't really know what's going on. Did you have fun?
Okay. I love reading from Eliza's point of view.
Well, I loved hearing from Eliza's point of view. So that was from A Witch Among Us. Is that right?
Yes.
Your Kickstarter's just finished?
It just finished last week, and it did so well. Thank you to everyone who showed up for it. I was very, very nervous. I've never done anything like that before, so I was very pleasantly surprised by the turnout.
Now I'm very, very happy because that means I can get a copy.
Yes, I will be posting the pre-order link sometime in the very near future, so be on the lookout.
How exciting. So, do you think we should bring everyone back?
Nah.
No, let's
Of course.
Everyone's here.
Hello,
Almost.
everyone.
Hello.
Apart from Saffron. Thank you.
Happy to be back.
It's my profile art.
Yeah, you drew that.
I did.
Oh, it's really good. Neat.
That was good
you.
promotion.
Oh yeah, Danika is an incredible artist. So go check out her work. That was a threat. Congratulations, you did it. You did the scary thing and you all smashed it, and that was amazing. And I actually feel a little bit tearful because I'm so proud. That was really good. That was great.
Okay.
Couldn't have done it without you, we have to say.
Yes.
So shout out to you pushing all the buttons in the background. You're not getting enough credit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I work backstage like a little goblin. Yeah. So Sarah, do you have some questions for our lovely authors?
All right, I'm going to start you all off with a quick fire question. And I was going to say, no one can see me, so there's no point. If you were a chocolate, as this is the selection box, if you were a chocolate, what chocolate would you be? Just shout out.
Just shout out.
A chocolate covered cherry.
Ooh.
Whatchamacallit.
Ooh, can I be a chocolate covered strawberry?
No, that's too similar to mine. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd be like just a plain milk chocolate with a peppermint filling because, not to everyone's taste, but I reckon I'm pretty good.
Aw, I like peppermint too.
I take mine back. Actually, I would be one of those like Valentine boxes that you don't know what you're gonna get. You just.
That's perfect. I think it would be like dark chocolate with toffee inside because I'm bitter on the outside but sweet on the inside.
Oh, you seem sweet on all the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. I try.
I'd be something with peanut butter because that's always my favorite.
I
So.
love peanut butter.
That surprises me. I wouldn't have guessed peanut butter as your thing. Yeah.
As my thing?
Yeah. Is it a thing for you or is it just something you like?
I mean, I wouldn't say. It's like you look at me, you're like, that's a girl who likes peanut butter and chocolate. I don't know, but maybe we'll make it a thing
now.
Now it's a thing.
It is.
You can't go wrong with peanut butter and chocolate.
I don't think anyone dislikes peanut butter and chocolate, right?
And that's why
People
you
with peanut allergies.
Saffron, because you don't dislike me. You're just like, love her so much. So
I do. I do. I love everyone in this room. It's very cute.
We're not in the room with you, Safi.
Let me pretend. Let me just have this thing where I pretend I have friends for like 5 minutes.
We're there in spirit. I might not even be real.
Oh, shit. Oh man, now I don't know what to think or how to feel.
Next,
it's all go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Goodness. I mean, it was a roller coaster of emotions, to overuse a phrase. Listening to everybody's readings because it was like happy, sad, stressful, murder, and that's how I live my life. It's like looking in a mirror.
You broke me. Oh shit, that's funny.
I think people come to the selection box to feel something, right? And we gave them everything, right? We gave them everything we had.
Oh, you did. You guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit worried there at the beginning because everybody is reading these, they're beautiful, lovely things, and I'm like, whoa. Listen, guys, I've got news for you. My girl is over here worrying about murders, and then
I got you covered.
I will say, don't let my books fool you. There's plenty of gut punching emotion, and I put my characters through the ringer.
And you also, they're a bit saucy, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
We love a little sauciness. Although I was a little bit disappointed that you didn't choose a nude scene because I thought that would have been quite funny. Funny for as the opener.
Oh my God. I flat out said there's a reason that I will not ever narrate my own audiobooks. I'm a child. Like, I can write the smuttiest scenes ever, but you talking out loud, no. I would giggle and.
You have to have a special kind of confidence for that. And also, who would be making all the noises? Would you have to do that as well?
Well, no, actually, I always joke that people tell me that my husband needs to be like narrating my books and stuff. And I said, well, if the two of us could narrate it together, but I don't know. I feel like that'd be so awkward.
I think that might be quite a bit of editing.
I mean, there'd be a lot of commentary, I think, going on in the background.
Amazing. Sarah, do you have any more questions?
So I know that some of us are very prolific here and some of us aren't, but if you had to pick one piece of work for readers to pick up, the thing that you think most sort of expresses you, what piece of your work would you like them to read?
Should we go around the room so that people aren't all shouting out the names of their books?
Yeah.
Shall I name a person?
Yeah, you go.
You have to call on us.
You volunteer.
Let's
We're all
start,
doing the thing right now where we're trying to figure out which one.
let's start with Daniel.
Oh, great. This is what I get for speaking up.
Oh god.
Shit.
Is that the name
Is that
of
what
the
it's
work?
called?
That's coming out soon. No.
Next word.
Oh god.
You know what? Let's just stick with Marble, what I just did. That's a pretty good summation of the sort of things I think.
Great.
I can go. For me, my latest novel is called Medusa, or Men Entombed in Winter. It's over my shoulder right here.
I think it's over my shoulder as well.
I've argued that Medusa is everything that I've ever wanted to write. So that's that would be one that I recommend picking up.
It's backwards, but I'll show
There it is.
the cover.
And that's
It's
and
amazing.
And your quote on the cover too.
It's got good taste. C.W. Rose, what about you?
Well, I only really have 2 books right now, just a duology, so I'd have to say Ocean Song.
I'm gonna just have a little side point. You don't only have 2 books out.
You
have
have
you
2
mean in
books
general?
out.
I have 2 books out. Probably the one I'm gonna start querying. It's a Chinese mythology romantasy with demons and shamans and Chinese dragons and little dogs that roar because they're food dogs. So I'm gonna start querying that soon. So that's probably most like
Little dogs that roar.
Yep. So if you go to Chinese places and you see those like little guardian lions, the protagonist has one as a pet. So it's a food dog.
I love that.
And she roars, so instead of barking, she roars, and that's warning.
I love that.
I need to read this.
Yeah.
Katie Carlisle, what would be your example?
I know what I saw.
That's the name of your book, and I was like,
yeah.
You saw what? And I was confused.
Listen right now. You know damn well what the book is called.
It's amazing. I love it.
I love that book. It's still my favorite thing that I've ever written, and I've written 3 books since then. So it's it's very near and dear to my heart, and it's the first to what I just read tonight. So
you are the reason why. Well, obviously, this is a stupid thing to say, but every time I see something with Bigfoot on it, it makes me think of you.
I love
you're
that.
the Bigfoot babe to me.
Oh my god. Do you know how happy that makes me though? Because like you're not the only one, and I get like so many people will DM me and be like, I saw this at Walmart, it has Bigfoot on it. I'm like, I'm going there today. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, so many people or Amanda Dodge. I love her. She's so great. There is a dispensary near her house with Sasquatch on it. And she was like, I'm going to go take a picture of I know what I saw with the Sasquatch by the dispensary. I'm like, this works on so many fucking levels. You don't even realize.
Amazing.
No, that's me, though. Eliza is me.
Oh.
That's just, yeah.
It must be, oh no, I was getting into interviewing mode. I was going to say, it must be cathartic to be able to do that, and I'm going to stop interviewing you now.
Stop.
I can't.
Get out of here. I'm not answering your questions. Stop.
Danika, what about you?
That's always such a hard one, but I think definitely my most recent one, Sweet Redemption, the one I read from tonight, mainly because the main female character has a lot of chronic illness, and that's something that I have. So it was very emotional for me writing that, and cathartic, and seeing other people come to me and say, how much they appreciate it and how much they can relate to it is really fulfilling. So yeah,
That's nice. Awesome. And last but not least, Cara. Okay. Cara's how I pronounce it.
That's how you pronounce it. That's
Yeah.
okay.
If that's okay. If that's not rude. I can't do
No.
the accent because then I mimic an accent and I sound like I'm being mean.
You're totally fine. Yeah. So Alive, which is the only book I have the only book I have out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can read it and then soon listen to it. And I'm sure there'll be more on the way when the time comes. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, all of the links. Oh, I think CW Rose has to dip out, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Have a good rest of the evening.
Bye. You too.
We do have the links for everybody's work down below. It's very easy to find it. I've made it very easy for you. You should go check it out. All of these people here have dedicated their time to the craft of writing, and now they've dedicated their evening to being here with you. So I hope that you all enjoyed the performances. I don't know if that's the right word, the readings. And I'm not sure.
Call them performances.
Yeah, performances. I mean, they were all pretty special.
Really, I've set this up because I just want people to read for me.
Yeah, free audiobooks.
Yeah, I was like, how can I get more of these authors? I can make them read to me.
It's a very elaborate scheme, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I didn't think it through.
I mean, it's working. We're all here reading to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
you got us.
You're a genius. You're a genius, Sarah. Did you have any more questions?
Fool me once.
I was just going to say, where's the best place to find you and your work?
Let's go in reverse order so that it's not like a rodeo. Cara, could you tell us where to find you and your work?
Instagram is the platform I'm most active on. But then I have my website and everything in my link tree in my bio. But yeah, check me out there. And it's just my name, @Dobias.
Amazing. And Danika?
I'm most active on Instagram, but I'm on pretty much all this. Well, not all, most of the socials. And my website definitely. And they're all Danika Lynn books. So try to make it pretty easy.
Awesome. Thank you. And Katie Carlisle?
I am definitely most active on Twitter @Katie_Carlisle. I do dabble in the other places, but Twitter's where it's at. That's where I'm at.
Thank you. And Kyle?
I'm on pretty much all social media, but I hate it so much. I hate everything about
Yes.
it makes me sad when you're like, Twitter's where it's at, and I'm like, I hate Twitter so much. But I really do. It's such an awful place. It's so
great.
awful. But regardless, you can also find me on my website. It's just my first and last name, KyleFarnworth.com. You can find all my books there. Everything's linked. Yeah.
Awesome. And Daniel Radford?
Yeah, basically everything I do can be found on my website, radfordwrites.com, and I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky, allegedly.
Sweet. And Daniel also has 2 podcasts that Sarah and I have been on, and they're very good. So can you tell the people what the names of them are? And I'll add the links to this as well.
Yeah, the Stories Across Borders and Fixation. And now I've met a bunch of other people I can nag to be on them.
Excellent. See, this is just a networking thing now.
They're very fun podcasts as well. I had a lot of fun on them.
Oh, it's so much fun. I got to talk to Daniel about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for an hour and a bit. It was amazing.
How fun.
You should go listen to the episode. It was fun.
Who did you do it versus?
Versus, as in, there was no fighting.
No, when Charlie tells them that they're going to do a play, and then they're like, okay, but who are we doing it versus?
Oh, man, I've watched it several times over, and I still didn't get the reference.
Yep.
Wow, what a fool on a live. Anyway, is there anything else that you wanted to ask anyone, Sarah?
No, I was just going to say, if anyone is watching and you fancy being on the selection box, we have a sign-up form, an interest form, that I will link after this. Or you can just message me and I'll be like, no. It depends how aggressive you want me to be.
Imagine you get a response. No.
a question in the form where you gauge how aggressive you want the
Yes, so
response?
the aggressive
Okay.
is like a polite no. If you come to me directly, I'm like, how dare you?
That seems fair, honestly.
My goodness.
I'm so tired.
This is bless Sarah. She is up and it's 1:15 in the morning. So I think we should let this poor woman go to
I
bed.
have a
I
chronic
think we should go an
fatigue
hour
issue.
more. Why not?
Evil. Well, let Sarah go if she wants to. I don't want to put her through this any longer. I'm just going to say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for reading your work with us. Thank you to everybody that watched the live. If you're watching the recording, thank you as well. Hopefully you'll check out everybody's books or their work, which you can find linked below. Again, made it very easy for you, so you've got no excuses. I'm going to put the outro on and I'm going to wave awkwardly. And if you guys want to stick around, I'll see you on the other side. And if you want to disappear, thank you very much. And I hope to see you again. Goodbye,
Thanks
everyone.
for having us.
Love you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.
I'm also waving.
You.